much for coming along, everyone. So my name's Adrian Connolly, President of the Australian Table Football Association, and also undergoing chemotherapy at the moment for testicular cancer. A colleague of mine, Simon, here, has also recently been told he's relapsed, I'm not sure if that's the right word, for testicular cancer as well. So he'll start chemotherapy next week. Week after. So there's two of us, believe it or not, in the small table football community that are battling testicular cancer at the moment. My story, I was diagnosed last year. So throughout last year I had sort of hernia discomfort through the groin, off and on, which I had in the past as well, through sport and the gym and stuff. So I just sort of changed my gym routine and it went away, and that appeared to be all it was. But as a result of that coming and going, I was checking down there quite regularly, more than I would have done in the past. And in November I found a lump, which could be too much information for people, but I didn't actually think it was on my testicle. I thought it was on like the cords behind, and with good old Dr. Google sort of says it's probably a cyst, a bit like Dylan Tombides, who's the DT38 Foundation. He passed away because he was partly because he was misdiagnosed. The GP thought it was a cyst as well. So luckily I did go to a GP like Dylan did, and my GP was quite thorough, and he thought it was possibly the same, just a cyst, but sent me through for the ultrasound scans. And much to my surprise and his surprise, he called me up. We were actually at the pub celebrating a work sort of walk prize that I got, and got the call from my GP saying, get into the specialist this week because, don't want to scare you, but it could be cancer. So that was sort of in early December. And then everything happened really quickly, which is good about the Australian health system. I was in the surgery quite quickly after seeing specialists, and just a week before Christmas had the tumour removed. Was told it was cured, it was curative for the surgery, but with 40% chance of it coming back. So then it's quite a religious regime, so some probably know the same thing too, of checking you quite frequently initially, because the recurrence, if it does happen, is usually in the first year or two, and less likely after that. So my first 3-month scan actually picked up it was back. So I was in the lymph nodes of my back. Then they did some more scans and they found it's in the lymph nodes of my lungs as well. So hence, soon after that, they got me on chemotherapy. So I had pretty intense 9-week chemotherapy where you sort of 3-week cycles. They smash you in week 1. You're meant to rest in the other 2 weeks, so they still give you a bit. And like yesterday, you still get side effects at times. And then they sort of repeat that 3-week cycle 3 times. And fingers crossed that does it. Apparently it does respond well to chemotherapy, testicular cancer. So they say it's a good cancer to get, so it shouldn't be too scary, even though it is your bowels and it is chemotherapy. It does respond well. Firstly, the surgery usually cures it for most people, 60% of people, and then the chemo responds for most as well. So it's a 95% survival rate. So it really is important to know your bodies as guys, a bit like women with breast cancers, to know your bodies. It's a big eye-opener for me, as I mentioned to a few people earlier, is it's guys mainly from their late teens to mid-40s is where it strikes. And for my type of cancer, it's more common in guys in their 20s. And there's several high-profile athletes right now, like Jesse Hogan, the recent in the past, and Craig Moore, and Alan Stubbs, the English footballer as well, that have been struck in their prime with its cancer as well and survived. So that's kind of my story and why I wanted to share it as well, because I felt I didn't know very much about it at all, and that if this had happened to me 20 years ago, would I have picked it up? Would I have done anything about it? I'm not confident I would have. Would I have been brave enough and know yourself as a man enough to do stuff about it? I don't know. So I'm in some ways thankful it's happened now. So the big part of the evening is just about that awareness. It's just trying to sell the message of guys being aware this cancer exists and to check. There's a lot of information online. Movember has a good website now on testicular cancer. It's very new. They haven't really promoted it too much because it is brand new. So look up their website and you'll find some good information on checking, but also diagnosis and treatment, so depending on where you are in the cycle. And the Dylan Tombides Foundation is fantastic as well. They set themselves up in Australia as well now too, so you can Google DT38 and they have some good information online with Dylan's story, a young Socceroo that passed away at the age of just 20 after a 3-year battle with the cancer as well. So look that up, there's lots of good information on there if you are concerned at home. So the fun bit of this evening is the table football. So we've got celebrity table football players used to playing there in the youth, so I'll introduce each of those. For Kimon only a couple of years ago, his youth would have been, I presume. So,
maybe the chemo's affecting you too much.
That's right, you get chemo brain, they say. So Kimon is the president of the Football Federation Victoria. Played this club here for over 100 games, an impressive 45 goals. I was googling how many there was. Pretty impressive to go almost every second game in the good old NSL days. With 9 Socceroo caps for 3 goals as well, which I must admit I didn't realise it's pretty good record. There's a lot of illustrious Socceroos who went a lot more, or supposedly illustrious strikers that didn't score many goals for us. Retired back in 2001 from the field, but then has done a lot of great things off the field since. He was the first life member of the APFA, which I didn't realise as well. So he's done a lot of fantastic work after being on the field as well, and probably is even more known for your work after the football pitch, which is fantastic. So Jamieson, most people here will probably be more familiar with him. He's still a current player. 50th game coming up once the toes healed, I believe. So I was looking up seeing how many games you've played for us. 50, so 49 I think it is now. So
there you go.
I haven't seen any media about it, so
I'm going to get the cake
boil it
ready.
up the press.
I'll let him know on a plaque and some cake.
Adrian and I will make the banner.
Yeah.
So Scott's been pretty much a fan favourite wherever he's been. I used to live in Perth and he's a fan favourite over there. Some of the table football guys from West Sydney are still fans from maybe up there from the Origins. And that's mainly due to your drive and commitment on the field, and you must have a bit of it as well off the field to come to events like this at very short notice. So we greatly appreciate you coming along as well. Several of us are City fans as well, so it's good to have the City representation here for this evening's events. We've got branded City teams for you as well. There's none with your blonde/ginger locks on, unfortunately. Usually just
having
does those.
different teams as a kid, and I just pulled one up there. I saw one there, Melbourne City. So I'm going to get Melbourne City to try and some Jamieson ones on these there. No.
So what we're going to do is have now a bit of a grudge match as our exhibition game between Kimon and Scott. Before I get into that, we're just going to give them a small token of our appreciation. We've got a few little giveaways for you both. A couple of my balls. You've got to get a couple of my balls.
What bad balls I want.
Yeah,
no, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, I think obviously Kimon and I are very honoured to come down here. Be a part of, first and foremost, to raise awareness for such a big thing, like you said. To get to speak to people going through the core years are going through it, so it's obviously very brave of you to actually come down here and really drive what this message is about. And if we can really help any little bit of raising awareness, I'm sure I'll speak for Kimon too, that we'll definitely do it. There wasn't second thoughts for us to come down here and try and help in any way, shape or form. So, like I said, very honourable gentlemen for really putting yourselves out there and making the time to come out here, and we'll be supporting you like the whole football family, no doubt about it. So we're with you, and make that known, we'll support you through everything. So appreciate the invitation to come down here and kick Kimon's ass.
something? Or
You don't have to say anything, no?
No, no, I'd like to.
You'd like to?
Firstly, I'd like to just thank everyone for coming today. It's important we also acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we play, and the traditional owners of even the table football, and pay our respects to the elders both past and present. Thank you to you two in particular, and for all of you that support them, for you guys to take responsibility, to get the message out there. It requires our greatest respect, because there are so many young people, young men out there who potentially can suffer from this, and if we can, as Scott said, if we can help to communicate the message, it's in their interests, okay? And the tragedy of Dylan is well known to all of us in Australia. We'd hate to think that would happen to any footballer, let alone any other young man. So thanks to you too. It's very inspirational, and we're here to support you. And thanks also for making your time available, Scott. I know it's a busy time for you. All right, so well done. Thanks.